All right. Hey, you guys. It is me, Shreeta Walden. And I have a guest who's not really a guest.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Ryan Jones.
And today we do not have Henry on here with us. Oh, I'm so sad.
Y'all always call me when one of y'all are
You gonna
not
let
here.
you gonna let everybody see all that crap over there on my little refrigerator for
We
real.
about to make a change. We about to make a change.
You know, I think you really trying to lightweight embarrass me on here. Like,
no, never.
don't do me. Don't do me. So here we are by any means. I heard the last show that I wasn't on. I heard it was off the chain.
Yeah, it was something. When me and Henry get together, it is always a great time. And it may not be for a long time, but for a good time. And we were definitely able to talk and dive in deep. Can you hold that for me? Shreeta, hold on 1 second, so we don't have no mix up with the sound. I'm gonna switch to the other office, okay?
Okay, all right. So yeah, Brian's gonna come back. So all right, you guys, I have food on my lip. So as we get ourselves together today, Ryan is joining me because Henry is at he's doing a symposium today. So yes, a lot of our role here at KYHRC, our roles in the work that we do, it involves us being in those spaces, taking up space. Let me show y'all my hat. See my hat? Black colleges. So I just want to show you all what's down here. I have not gotten a chance to tighten up these locks. So yeah, so you'll see me in a hat. When you see this hat or see a hat on my head, then no, it's because I want to have my locks right. I want to get them done right. I want them looking nice. But yeah, Henry is doing the business of harm reduction, of recovery, of meeting people where they're at, out in the community. We're in conferences. We are in symposiums. We're in a lot of spaces. And in fact, the last 2 weeks of this month, I'll be in Atlanta for two conferences. One leadership conference that I'll be at, and I look forward to participating in that. And then I'll also be facilitating a session at the Southern Harm Reduction Conference in Atlanta the last week of Atlanta. And in between that time, I'm gonna be hanging out with my sister, who's the founder and CEO, her and her husband of Black Kids Adventure. So I'll be doing some, I guess, social media stuff with her on her platform while I'm away, but still doing the work and the business of the people. All right, Ryan, you back? You back? Go ahead and turn that mic up so we can hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
All right, cool beans. All right. Listen, things come up, things happen, but we always know how to move, how to pivot, how to make it shake and bake. Okay, so
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So tell kind of give us that brief. The last time when I wasn't on here, which was two podcasts ago, you had the best, the most. You had the former state representative, Attica Scott.
Oh my goodness. When I tell you, she dove down into the deep with us about just talking about how we put community together, how we embrace the community, how to engage with the community. And she has so many I wish I had my book with me because she has some stuff that I have wrote down. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head, but that may be a problem. So, but I do the just to be able to grasp the whole conversation, have her presence with us, and literally be able to talk about systems, talk about the things that we have to navigate through. Dealing with people in power, dealing with people who have to really stand their ground.
Mm,
It didn't have, and what I loved about her conversation was it didn't stick to just one color. It didn't stick to just a certain gender. It
mhm,
was very across the board and very broad and general. That it allowed us to be able to see where there is a shift and there's a movement that is taking place, and if we all can embrace that, embrace
mm,
our part in it, because we all have a part to play
absolutely.
in this shift that's happening. And so I appreciated her and her wisdom that she shared. And then along with, of course, Henry and his wisdom and knowledge that he shared with us as well, too. So it was amazing.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you guys, as you're joining, please like and share our feed. Today, I'm not able to see the comments, but we want you all to comment. Ryan will be able to see it. Sarah, who's working on the back end, will be able to see it. We want to get those comments up there. We're having a really deep discussion today, as always, we do.
Yeah.
But today, even more so, um, we're taking our conversation about resilience that we started in the last episode, Henry and I, to a deeper level. And the topic's title today is "We Still Here," right? We still
Yeah.
here. What we're going to be talking about is we want to explore what it means to be resilient in systems that continuously challenge us, challenge our integrity, challenge our hope, challenge whether we feel like we belong, right? And through the lens of the current events. So we're going to tie in our brother, our dear brother, George Floyd, whose birthday was this week, and I had the honor of being a part of the Kentucky Alliance this week, and their space holding at the Injustice Square here in Louisville, Kentucky, on 6th and Jefferson. But we're going to tie that in. We're going to talk about Kentucky's decision to honor Charlie Kirk on George Floyd's birthday. Yeah, this is by any means. This ain't nobody else's podcast. We're gonna dive into that. We're gonna talk about the journalist that walked out the other day from the Pentagon. We're gonna talk about those things, and we're gonna talk about stepping away from things that no longer align with us. As we have that conversation, we are looking forward to a guest that may join us later on this afternoon. As you notice, it's me and Ryan. We don't have guests, and it's not because people don't want to talk, is that it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things happening in our country that are impacting people. And you know what? I'm feeling people. I'm tired of
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna talk to a guest of ours. Her name is Tasha Thompson, coming from where? Virginia? Did you say Virginia?
Yes, and you know it from the big VA.
That's right.
Yes, from Petersburg, Virginia. Um,
Yes. And
yes, indeed.
she's gonna talk about her lived experience. So Ryan's gonna guide that discussion, that conversation. It's all a part systemic oppression. It's all a part about inequity. And we're gonna talk about how we're reclaiming health, how we're radicalizing harm reduction.
Hmm.
We are moving through the system. We're not letting it stop us. The goal is for us to move beyond
Yeah.
resisting toward sustaining, right? Reclaiming power, protecting peace, and choosing community by any
Me.
means. So let's
Well,
jump right in.
Sharita, before we jump right in, let's give our updates real quickly.
There you
Um,
go.
yes, indeed.
Take it away.
All right. So this is keeping up with KYHRC. Again, I am Ryan Jones, and I just want to share some upcoming events with you guys, so that way you can join in with us, you can partner with us, you can come out and work with us. Okay. Tonight. tonight, we will be at LRCC for our bi-monthly kit making party, and it starts at 6 o'clock. No, 5:30. I'm sorry, and it is at 1700 South Fifth Street, 1700 South Fifth Street at the LRCC Community Building. Definitely come out. You'll be able to participate with us as we make several kits that we use for our outreach. October the 29th from 9:45 to 1 p.m. The men of KYHRC will be attending the Boys Brotherhood Sports Conference, and that will be at 727 West Main Street. It actually, I can't wait to go. It gives us a chance to tap into our youth, our young men, and so that way we can assist them, give them resources, give them tools to help carry on through manhood. November the 15th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will be with the Big Bob event, and that is 1325 Bluegrass Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky. Also, during that same time, November the 12th through the 15th, there will be me and some of my colleagues, we will be attending the Drug Policy Alliance Conference in Detroit, Michigan. And our lovely host, Shreeta Walden, will be one of the presenters there. And so just, we are there, we are moving, we are shifting with the move of the nation, and we want you to be along and come along with us. And so any events that we announce publicly, these are public events that you are welcome to join and be a part of. So again, this is Keeping Up with KYHRC. Back to you, Shreeta and Ryan.
Back to you and myself. I was on here trying to share the live. I'm
Yes.
trying to share
Please.
with all my people, get everybody informed, make
Yeah.
sure that people are watching, because today's discussion is very, very important. It's very much touching. It's in the heart. Um, we're going to be talking about things that are not talked about
Right.
traditionally, right?
As
On
always.
our, right, on our platforms. We're going to be having those discussions. So I'm trying to share. So do what we're doing right now in this
Yeah.
moment. We're
All
sharing.
right. Take
Share.
your phone out.
Yes.
Share. Tag somebody too if you know them personally. Tag them, because we all need this information.
Yes.
And even for those that are watching the replay, still share it. Still share it, because the way that you share, the people who you may share it with, you don't know how much it may impact them in
That's
such a
right.
positive way. It may even give them something to hold on to. They may not be experiencing it now, but it may experience it 10 years down the road, and they can remember what was talked about here on By Any Means, with our raw and unconventional and that very direct and diverse conversations that we
Yes.
have. We talk about things that people may not really want to know, or know how to even talk about,
Mm-hmm.
to friends, to family, and just how to carry through life. So definitely, we appreciate you sharing across YouTube and Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram.
So
Share it.
yeah, even if they don't have Facebook, we are on YouTube. So share the stream from our YouTube page. Um, we really want everyone to be a part of this discussion. Oops, my bad. We want everybody to be a part of this discussion. This isn't just uh, us sitting here talking. We want this discussion to get normalized. So we're okay with the numbers trickling. They're coming in, right?
Yeah, most
It takes
definitely.
time for podcasts to build. So we're there. So now
Definitely.
that we've taken care of the business, we're going to jump right in. Um, we're going to just we're gonna open up by naming it. Coming off of George Floyd's birthday, right?
Mhm.
Um, that's big. But the
Yes.
other part to that is watching a country decide to take this pivotal moment and decide on this specific day to name it Charlie Kirk's Day. Now, let me get very clear. We are not promoting violence at any rate.
At any
That's not a thing in harm reduction. We do
by
not
any means.
exact by any means. We don't promote violence.
No.
So I'm not saying that any group of people shouldn't feel or have a right to hold up, uplift any person. Hear me clearly. Anybody you choose. Because that's what this country is supposed to be about is choice. Free you have the freedom of choice. You make
Yeah.
that decision. So that's not what this is about. What it's about is that we had 4 other days out of the week. We had 4 other days out of the week, right, Ryan? Four.
There.
Monday,
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Hmm.
Thursday. We had a number of days that could have, and if you wanted to choose not on indigenous, our day for the indigenous people, or the day that we want to claim for a person that came to claim a land that wasn't theirs, we could choose not to use it on that day either, but we had other days. So let's talk about it. What when you saw that headline or when you heard about it, Ryan, what went through your mind?
You know, um, I've dealt with grief before,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have seen um, that even though it may be on a specific day that someone may have passed or that you may know, the world may not be in alignment with it, but to also understand that um, the inner world of mourning cannot fully align with the outward demands of media cycles. They
Mm,
cannot political messaging or
mm-hmm.
even public rituals.
Mm,
Because these two worlds are sometimes and oftentimes forced to be met.
right.
They are forced
Right.
to be met, and so it goes into grief as private, and then politics as public.
Right.
And it's hard sometimes because grief is it is very it is private.
Yeah.
And inherently it is intimate because people that's a dark place for some people,
Mm-hmm.
and that may not be able to understand it. But it can also be resisted by the spectacle of it.
Mm,
And so it really unfolds private spaces. It unfolds the unsaid,
mm-hmm.
and the rapport of just a normal time. It can be like that. But then also, on the other hand, political spectacles is inherently performative. And
Mm,
so it seeks clarity, narrative coherence, as well as visibility. And so it transforms pain into a message.
mm.
And so it's like, how do we mobilize? How can grief mobilize for its power?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I love how you framed that.
Yeah,
Um
it was hard.
and
But
yeah, that was I mean that's good and I know people a lot of people were angry and anger is useful.
mhm,
And I get it. I think that sometimes we get stuck in our
mhm,
anger and sometimes our anger immobilizes us. So, you know, I think the question that comes up for a lot of people is how we keep showing up when it feels like the system keeps, testing our humanity, right? So how the people probably sitting back like, well, that sounds good, Ryan, right?
right, right.
How do you expect me to keep showing up when it's blatantly being thrown, like I said, you chose a day of this man's birthday, and let's keep it all the way 100.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I didn't know George Floyd until the day that I had to witness the last 9 minutes of his life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's when I had to learn about this dear brother of ours, and I never said that I knew his life. I knew
Right.
what he did. I knew what he didn't do. I didn't know what kind of person he was. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, truth of the matter is, he may not even like me as a person.
Right.
It is simply saying that when we publicly have acknowledged, and there was so many people that day, that moment, those 9 minutes, and I remember talking to mothers that look like me, don't look like me, but one thing we
Mm-hmm.
share is motherhood.
Yeah.
Is that when he called for his mama, we all heard that clarion call. If
Yeah.
you were a mama, you heard it. So it was his birthday, and someone stood up and said, I want to choose this day for another person that was harmed in an unnecessary space, a family that was harmed. Kids had to see their daddy taken down publicly.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm not negating any of the truths that are there. What I'm saying is, do we sit there and we stay angry
Mm.
and fester in it? Do we just stay upset with what happened? Because if when a person asks me, how do I keep moving through? How do I keep showing up when it feels like I have no choice?
Right. Right.
Because their lack of humanity doesn't dictate my level of humanity.
Right. Right.
Their lack of moral compass doesn't dictate my lack of moral, whether I have moral compass or not. They don't get to dictate how I respond, how I act,
Right.
right?
Right. I want to go back to your question of how do we keep showing
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing that comes to mind is that showing up um, is not always loud.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up is not always loud. Your presence alone, it speaks volumes and it speaks a lot of words
Mm-hmm.
when we show up, even though it means that refusing to go numb. It
Wow.
could be so, and because it's a continuation of care. And so it does not mean that you got to come, doesn't mean that you got to come protesting all the time, organizing, speaking out, got your bullhorn and
Right.
all of that, having a million man march going down the street. Sometimes just being present is a lot said.
Right.
Another thing that comes up is that we got to draw from the collective memory. Um,
Yeah.
when we have collective memory about something, a situation, a happening, an event, we are. Other people have had to come down this road before,
Mm-hmm.
and then and it did, and just because you're with your one specific situation doesn't mean that it won't happen again.
Right.
And so, utilizing previous events that may be similar allows us to be able to show up in a even more powerful way. So that because we have drawn from the memory bank of what was the most influential or most impactful way that they show up back then.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Look, y'all, we get so deep in these conversations, I be forgetting that we have like other things to bring into. So I'm looking at our conversation, and it is organically happening.
Yes.
But I'm gonna tie a couple of things, because as we're talking about this, we have these points and we want to make sure that if is our guest able to still make it at that time?
I'm not
Um,
very sure, but
okay.
I'm keeping in contact. So
Okay. So, and even if not, we're going to make sure that the sister gets on here at some point, okay?
okay,
Because her story is impactful and powerful, and it's a part of our mission.
most definitely.
Uh, so, as we're talking about us keeping going and staying here and being consistent and persistent, there's a couple of things that come up. First, we are talking about some heavy political things because
Hmm.
unfortunately it is all political that we're talking about. We can't negate again how all of this is wrapped and tied into politics.
Hmm.
Um, we, I want to bring our conversation into looking at performance because I like how you layered that, and that's what we're talking about. I want to reflect on this question as we move into the leaving the table, though. So we're only going to have one question in that second part because that's that's a more pivotal part of the conversation when we're talking about performance.
Hmm.
Um, at some point, resilience does start to feel like it's a toxic positivity type of term. And what I mean by that is, we've been resilient for a long time, y'all. Like
Right,
we're a lot of us are here. The reason why there's so many black and brown people still here is because our ancestors who are no longer here fought to stay.
right,
Um, they fought through racism. They fought through the battles. So we're here as the offspring, as the lineage, as the continuing of their generations of work.
right,
Um, there's two things I've seen happen. I've seen people bow out
right.
openly and honestly. And then I've seen people assimilate. Now, I when people ask me those questions, how do you? eh, I choose which space I want to stay in.
Right,
That's how I move through these systems. I'm aware the system is going to operate and do and act and react, respond the way that I'm aware that it's going to hijack our spaces. I'm aware that our rights for voting is on the table right now and possibly being pulled off. Like I'm aware. So now I'm in the space of I get to choose.
hmm.
So what am I talking about?
Getting to choose. Whew. with with resilience. Um, Me and because we're talking about continuing on.
Hmm.
Um, and so I know that you shared an experience that you had with having to make a decision to choose um, whether to leave or stay.
Yeah.
You had to make and in life we have a lot of those choices whether to leave or stay in a marriage, at a job, in a position, um, in a lifestyle. I mean, we have a choice in the end, but being able to um, being able to sit in it and stand 10, you know how the young folks say now, standing 10 toes down.
10 toes down.
Stay in your decision because ultimately it is what's best for what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And so as we're transitioning and going into leaving the table, um, what made you what made you we're talking real and we're being and we talked about this on yesterday as far as like being having a straight real raw conversation.
Yeah.
What made you make this decision to step away from the Democratic Party, and what did that moment represent for you? Come on.
So what's what's I guess, kind of a beautiful thing about this moment is that there was only the Democratic Party and those connected to it that know about it.
Right.
So taking this moment to even publicly speak on it. You know, I performed for many years, and I've even done professional theater
Mm-hmm.
on stage.
Okay.
I don't perform in real life.
Right.
I am animated when I speak, and I know that people, especially people that don't look like enjoy me,
Mm-hmm.
and they enjoy the animated versions of me.
Okay.
I'm not performing. I'm not performing in spaces where the reality is choices, policies, rules, regulations, systemic uh, systemic issues and concerns are being built that are hurting and harming the
Mm-hmm.
communities that are most impacted negatively. So when I, Ryan, I have been a legislative district chair for all of less than 6 months. I have been a precinct leader for my district less than 6 months. And I originally went into that position to continue the work that we do here at KYHRC, and my passion to continue to help to facilitate the liberation of our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would sit in these meetings and see that it was business as usual, or I will
Mm-hmm.
get emails from Democratic politicians and Democratic leaders who are not making decisions that are conducive to the overall wellness and upliftment of these communities in which they serve and which they were elected. When I sit, I learn that I'm being complicit in that action. I'm not able to navigate that space in a radical way like I do here. And what I tell people is no one's telling me to be quiet, but
Right.
there's an unspoken truth and an unspoken rule. I can't just come out and be like, I'm not supporting your mayor because I'm democratic, so I'm a part of that system.
Right.
I um I do not support the Democratic leadership's decisions right now, especially the ones that are impacting the way that we can operate as an organization.
Right.
A slap in the face. So after you and I witnessed what we witnessed, our organization witnessed, and you got a chance to see the family after the fact and engage
Mm-hmm.
with them. Uh,
Yeah.
the 61-year-old man that lost his life over a phone across the
Yeah.
street from our job.
Yeah.
Uh, it was over. We got real things happening here, Ryan, and it's time to stop playing. So it was a very serious decision. I want people to know it wasn't just an act of leaving those positions. I am removing my affiliation as a Democratic uh, Party member. So I
Okay.
will not be voting as a Democratic member any longer because we are not an example of democracy. And I need people to really understand that.
So, in hearing, because I heard you bring up the difference of generations in your conversation, and so do you think that there's a fear among older generations of letting go, and if so, what's behind that?
I do. I think you know what, to be honest, the older I get, and you probably could, also say
Mhm.
this, the older we get, we be looking at these younger generations like, hold up. Ooh, you see my aria, you see my belief. We be questioning sometimes, like, you be looking at your nieces and nephews like,
Oh yes.
as I get older, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I think about, wow, the decisions they're making, right? But the difference between us, Ryan, I think, and other folks is that when we start going, wow, look at the decisions, we actually sit down and meet them where they at and ask them, well, tell me why you make that decision. Or what about this? I remember Ryan was talking to one of my young adults, and this was a conversation they were having with him about their plans, their life plans. And
Mm-hmm.
and Ryan didn't just judge and go, oh, see, that's a dumb mistake. You shouldn't be doing. Ryan said, well, have you considered? Have you
Mm-hmm.
considered what would happen if this happened? Have you weighed your options? Not did you talk to your mama about it was have you considered?
Right.
That's how we talk to young people. So on my side, I can get why older generations look and say, I don't like the way because I'm from what generation? I'm from generation. I'm an X. I'm that's what I am, right? Yeah, 79.
I think so.
So yeah, we was kind of out there. We were latchkey kids. We was out there, y'all, baby. My mama questioned a lot of my decisions growing up. The beautiful thing about it is giving us the opportunity to demonstrate that we have been raised by you. You
Mhm.
don't get to separate yourself from us.
Right.
You help bring us up. So if you don't have faith in us, then you don't have faith in what you put into us.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be accountable to what you lack in providing us. If you got a problem with it, then what didn't you put in us? What didn't you instill in us?
So, with you saying that, and I'm gonna stop my questions because we're gonna keep on going because the more that you dive into this. So, with that being said, as far as what has been put in, or what is it that the older generation or previous generations have didn't teach or put in? So, what does that mean about succession?
So
What does that
yeah,
mean about legacy?
legacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because-
Because we won't be able to deal. So my thing is, there's some folks that are in office right now that really it's time to allow the newer generation who have grown up, have the lived experience on what's happening right now, the pulse of the community. They're more connected. It's not to invalidate our older generation and the wisdom that I get. Your grandfather, my
Mhm,
mother, my my grand uncles and my grandparents aren't here any
mhm,
longer, right? But my uncles, like the ones in their 70s, like they're the amount of knowledge and wisdom. I need that. I value it and I value them. What I'm saying is it's time to step back. Because if we don't,
mhm,
then we only leave a legacy of our futures being criminalized, and that's it. We are making history, and we are historically at points where we have some very large rates of criminology, the penal
mhm,
system. That's where we are soaring. So it's the question I have for our elders. And
mhm.
I'm speaking of our elders like the folks like Mitch McConnell. Because see, people get it twisted. They think I'm just talking about, you know, um, our senator Gerald O'Neill. They think I'm just talking about to the black. I'm talking about all of them.
All
I'm
of
saying, look, so your goal just to allow us to die off from drug use, abuse, and overdoses, or get locked up, and no one is prepared to take on the torch and move
them.
forward. That's not okay. Like, so when you die, all the work that you've done dies with you. That
Lies with
doesn't
you.
make sense.
And even with, like, a lot of people, they one person that comes to mind is like Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, different activists, different people that were able to stand strong,
Mm-hmm.
stand in power,
Mm-hmm.
and stand in resilience,
Yeah.
and because it all has an alignment that has to take place.
Yeah.
And I like what you said as far as the older generation, people that came before us, because we weren't alive during that time. But the information that flowed down. And
Mm-hmm.
so one thing, me, I love going to church and things of that nature, but and I love the word of God. But
That's
it
right.
says that that the silver haired, the older
Mm.
generation, is for wise counsel,
Yes.
the young men are for war. And so
Yes.
if we simply apply that, then the older, the silver haired, the wise generation, because they know that the younger ones are more hot headed, they're quicker, they'll respond faster, they won't ask as many questions as someone who is seasoned. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and a lot of times with me, with my grandfather, before I make a big decision,
Mm-hmm.
I pick up the phone,
Oh yeah.
the text message. So that way I know that I can put something else besides what I know and add to what I know. So that way I'm making the most, and I'm not making no irrational, but I'm making now a rational one because I have another point of view,
Yes. And
another
what would lived experience?
and lived experience to add along with it.
Right. It doesn't mean, I love how you say that. If we in alignment, and this is my biggest battle, I think, spiritually, when we're talking about religion, and we're
Hmm.
talking about the use of our Bible.
Hmm.
I tell people, and I made a post the other day, and it probably threw a little people because they're like, dang, Shreeta, either you in the church or you not. And I'm like, listen, don't be trying to figure out my relationship with God. Figure out your own. So I'm like, don't don't try to figure out man. Figure out your own relationship with your higher power, the creator, however you see.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we all there by ourselves, right?
Got to.
What I tell people is that my moral compass is not based on the loyalty I have to anybody's book.
Shoo. Yeah.
If I did that, I would be in the same predicament as our country right now
Hmm.
because they took a book that was meant to guide, to lead us to the promises of the word,
Hmm.
and they chopped it up strategically to approve death in some ways and not, or murder in some ways or not, to
Hmm.
approve things that are not aligning morally.
Yeah.
So, because that exists, I had to have a relationship with a power greater than me, you, or anything man made.
Right.
And what I do know is that man has nothing to do with how I got up this morning.
Right.
Has nothing.
Mm-mm.
Man has no way of controlling whether I have oxygen that when I did like and
Yeah.
breathe, I'm like, if it's just at that level, I have a moral duty,
Yeah.
right? So this is where I let people know we are responsible for checking into where that moral compass is. And if we truly followed, we would operate in that way. People with the gray and silver, beautiful white
Hmm.
strands of hair would pass the baton willingly and not fight
That's,
against each other to hold a space for notoriety or influence or for likes.
yeah.
They would not do that because they understand their role.
Yeah.
People do not understand their role. While we're talking about gender roles, yeah, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna go there. We talk
No.
about gender roles all day, and I'm like, but y'all don't understand the basic roles. I
Mm-mm.
respect you for sharing with me and my mother's views don't always align with each other.
No.
But I respect listening to her because guess what? She got way more years than I do.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Even if I listen and say 90% of the things was wrong, now I know what to do right. Like I'm like, there's a point of listening. Like, yeah, maybe that's why she in a predicament, or maybe that's why my stepfather's in that predicament because of that. Well, let me see what why my father, my creator, is
Mm.
aligning in me. What do I need to take from that? That's
Right.
it. It's not discounting them.
Mm-mm.
It's saying that I'm using these.
Right. And there's a Hebrew word that's is called Shema, Shema,
Mhm.
and it says for us to be able to the definition of it is for us to hear.
Right.
But it also has another part that says that for to hear, to obey.
Mhm.
And so when we um, take in these wise counsel sessions and these
Mhm.
wise words, add them to and take what we need from it, utilize it without tampering with it, we
Mhm.
will be able to now put into action what we heard so that way we can carry on. um,
Right.
and because the wise counselor actually will allow us to be able to visualize what's ahead before we get there.
That's it. That's why it's wise.
That's why it's
And I
wise.
can't be wise if I'm at this age and I haven't experienced anything 50, 60. Who am I?
My mom used to tell me all the time, I've been here longer than you. Okay.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
That's
So
it, and that's
I,
all.
I think if we did, I agree with you, Ryan. The spaces that we occupy, those
Mhm.
kind of spaces, that space, the democratic space, they would be more meaningful, they'll be authentic, and we would be able to move the needle. But we can't get there if we continue to just stay. And that brings us back to, if we continue to just, I'm just going to stay because I'm supposed to.
Right. I done got in it now. I don't want to. I don't want to look like I'm a failure. I don't want to seem like I just gave up. I don't want to. What are they gonna say about me? What are they gonna do to me if I try to come back?
Mhm.
What is gonna happen? You know, and I've even with lived experience of having to make the decision and the choice to step away
Mhm.
from some of the actions that I was doing. And as we
Mm.
all talked about it before, as far as dealing with drugs,
Mhm.
that was a choice that I had to make.
Mhm.
Because if I wanted to my life to keep its resilience, I was gonna have to stop some stuff. I was gonna
Right.
have to stop because if not, I would be killing off and unaliving myself and the purpose and what is inside that
Yeah.
I'm the part that I'm supposed to play in this life that I
Yeah.
have, but whatever time frame I got,
Yeah.
I would be shutting that off way too early. I would be aborting the mission.
Ooh.
And so being able
Mm.
to stay in the race because it's not given to the strongest person, it's not given to the smartest person, it's not given to none of the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that can
Do
endure. The one that can stay in it, even though that the winds are blowing so strong, and I mean, since I got to Kentucky, I got a little bit of weight on me now. But
it.
the winds that blow, that are meant to really knock you over, take you completely out, are now being a stepping stool. It is
Yeah.
being encouragement. It is being a beacon of light to the situation that help you to know that
Mhm.
even with the resistance that is coming against you, you are still able to stand.
That's
Just stand. One thing that comes to mind is how a bird on a power line
mm.
stays.
Mm.
How a bird on a power line still stays even through the storm,
Mm.
the tornadoes, heavy winds. A bird can stay on that power line
Mhm.
and go against what is trying to blow them off of it.
Mm.
And that's how sometimes I have to encourage myself, to just stay in the,
Mm.
because the fight is going to be there, whether we like it or not.
Regardless.
we are, but what we can do is give a positive outlook and to be able to withstand the force that is trying to take you out or mark you off, whatever the case may be. If we're able to really stand up against it, and the radicalness that comes with it, because there's gonna be people that's gonna be like, you are so crazy. Why
Mm-hmm.
why haven't you just said the hell with this? Why haven't you
Right.
just said, okay, here, no, I'm done? You
Right.
haven't flipped the desk over. You haven't done any of that because you were able to just take a breath and
And,
just
and
take it in.
you know what? I think you've laid that out so beautifully. And for people who are doing this work and leading, when we say stay and when we say resilience, we're saying stay focused on the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Don't abandon the mission. You may have to leave a table. You may have to leave a room. You may have to leave a platform.
May have to leave some people.
People, woo, them circles. I said my circle is shrinking and growing at the same time. It's like this. It's amazing to watch because it's transforming.
Mm-hmm.
Staying doesn't mean abandoning the mission. And that is why, by any means, why we are here. It we're not abandoning the mission. So what are we doing? What are you doing, Shreeta? What does that even mean? Because when I hear stay, it makes me feel like, well, you want me to stay at that organization that's abusing me. You want me to stay in that space that talks down to me, that doesn't give me an opportunity to be authentic. I'm saying re-strategize.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying lean into the power that's greater than you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if you don't have one of those in your life, a power greater than you, go outside right now on your phone, go touch that grass, and realize that there is something outside of you that planted
Mm-hmm.
that there.
Yeah.
Go touch a tree, and you'll be like, whoa, understand. Even the ones that were planted by us because humans dig up trees and go plant down new ones. Crazy, right? But that's what we do. But go touch the tree, especially them old ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those are hundreds and thousands of years. I'm talking about the ones that haven't fallen over yet because we destroyed the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Go touch or simply go outside and look in the sky. You will know that there's something in the universe that's outside of you that's greater. And lean into that. And then close your eyes and see what aligns.
Mm-hmm.
Alignment doesn't feel comfortable all the time. Have you ever had your back aligned? Have you ever had to get aligned right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
wasn't, and if you hear that crack and you be like, oh, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
what happens after the crack? You be like, oh,
Okay.
I could, oh, wait a minute. I
Okay.
can move, right?
Yeah.
Uncomfortable in the beginning. The moment I wrote that letter, I cried. The time, the moment I sent it, but the moment, the time that I took into writing that 4-page letter to the Democratic Party. Yes, I did. I was on my Aaliyah shit. I
Okay.
do a 4-page. So the time that I put into that, I actually did have tears in my eyes, you guys. So it was painful. It was hard. When I hit submit, my heart raced. Was I here when I hit submit? I think I was here, and I said I had to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
My heart was racing. I was like, it wasn't that I was scared. It's just that I made a decision.
Yeah.
After that, it was like I could breathe. I could breathe. I was in complete alignment with my morals and my values and God. For me, God. I'm
I,
gonna let Ryan close us out because we got 2 more minutes. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't follow my brother outside of this space, he hosts every morning at 7:30. He has intentional prayer on his platform, Ryan Restored Jones. Um, Follow him. I don't always make it 7:30. I have
Okay.
them as a reminder because if I in fact get up in time enough, I will see him and I'll jump on. But if you want to get your morning, it's something you can listen to while you're in the shower, which is what I do most of the time. Or I have fallen back to sleep listening to prayer. If that is your life, and guess what? You don't have to be a Christian to do it. He got
Yeah.
all kinds of people following him
Yeah.
across the world, just listening into his prayer. So Ryan, if you could close us out, I had a good time with you, brother.
Yes, indeed. Most definitely, as always. I do want to leave this one last thought. Resilience is beautiful when it's chosen,
Mhm.
but when it's coerced, when it's the only option left, it's not resilience, it's survival labor.
Mm.
And no one should have to carry that alone. So when we come into spaces like this, we are inviting community. We're inviting people who may have survived this already. We're also inviting people who may be in the early stages of whatever may be going on, even the final stages of it. But it's beautiful to know that there is a choice that can be made that can allow us to gain some strength by it. It may hurt, but in the end, it's strengthening at the same time. And so again, Sharita, it was always awesome to sit with you. We definitely miss out what I call them hen dog. We definitely Henry. But listen, you guys, make sure that you share this, share, tag somebody. You have any questions, you want to even go more in depth in conversation, we would love to talk to you. You can go to our website, www.kyhrc.org. We have all types of events going. You can find us on all social media platforms at Kentucky Harm Reduction Coalition. And listen, a lot of times it's probably going to come to my desk. So, reach out, feel free. Sometimes I'll be sitting there twiddling my thumbs. So, give me something to do. Come talk to me. Listen, we love to talk. We love to have good conversation, and we love making sure that we meet people where they're at. Listen, that's the only way, because if not, we're gonna get to performing, and then if I don't clap, you might get upset, and so
Thank you, Ryan. All right, we 2 minutes over, Ryan. We'll stay on here forever. All
listen,
right, thank you guys. We will see you. Keep choosing truth, rest, and each other
each
by
other
any
any
means. We're
means.
out.
Deuces.
See ya.